Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Neo Before Zod #1. This is a new book from DC Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Joe Casey with art by Dan McDaid, colors by David Baron, letters by Troy Peteri. So we saw a little preview of this story, or maybe a prologue to this story in, I believe it was one of the last Action comics that we've seen very recently. So let's see what this book is all about. Zod rules a world of his own. General Zod was Krypton's most notorious criminal. Now he has an entire planet to rule. But what happens when the most dangerous individual in the universe gets everything he ever wanted? Obviously, he wants more and he'll stop at nothing to get it. In the most brutal series you'll read this year, that's funny because we just started the year, so that's a tall order. Uh, in the most brutal series you'll read this year, this is not a superhero's journey. This is a dark ride brought to you by the sick and twisted minds of the Adventures of Superman writer Joe Casey and artist Dan McDaid in his monumental mainline DC debut for General Zod and his family. The descent into hell has just begun. Um, yeah, I think Joe Casey does a really good job at fully fleshing out this conflicted Zod, this Zod that is really struggling with. He has everything he ever wanted, but now he wants more. Uh, he has a conflict within himself that kind of shows up in the in the way that it is like a personification of Jor-El almost, like, because that was his natural enemy. But now he has everything. He has his own planet. He has his people that he has to rule over. He has a family. He has a son, and I believe another one on the way in this book. So that's really interesting to kind of keep exploring. Of like, your wish has been granted. Now let's explore what happens from that point. Almost feels this story is so disconnected from the main DC universe that I feel it almost feels like a little Elseworlds. I don't think it is. I think this is all happening definitely in the main continuity. Um, I really love that the Eradicator's voice shows up here. Right, that's the Eradicator was a system that was part of Krypton, so of course General Zod has implemented that. So yeah, it's kind of a very interesting premise. I think this is a very slow burn for the first issue. A lot of things to set up because it's catching you up on, like, what is this new Candor? Who are these people? Who is General Zod's family? Right? We're only really familiar with General Zod, and then also what is he going to go up against? So there's definitely a lot to catch up on, but this issue does everything to bring you up to speed. Um, let's talk about the art here. Let me pull up some of the preview art. I'm not very familiar with Dan McDaid, but I like it overall. There's still some things that don't fully click for me, like some of the character designs. Like, I'm looking at the little hair here for Jor-El. I really like the design for General Zod, though. I really think that looks very cool. Uh, but it's just kind of odd to see Jor-El in this design. It's not something I've seen before, but overall, like I said, I really like it. I think the colors are really nice and muted where they need to be, especially because this is a dark ride that they're trying to set that tone, right? And as we move forward here, we get to see it evolve, and I think maybe that was just also kind of a weird angle, but you don't get to see a lot in this preview, but you get to see almost Zod just kind of talking to himself, kind of talk to everything before we get the title page for the chapter one. So overall, really enjoyed it. I love this panel of kind of the galaxy being encapsulated within Zod, and as he struggles with, what he has to do next. So I think this is a fun book. I think this will be something that, because it is so disconnected from the DC universe, I can enjoy on its own later once it's a little further along or maybe more connected to the story. It definitely does leave a lot of really interesting threads hanging, specifically the relationship between General Zod and his kid, which I think it's the most interesting part of this book so far. But there's some very cool stuff, really cool action, and of course we also get to see Zod and Ura, I think it's his wife's name. Just have, like, like I said, it's kind of like a dark mirror to Jor-El and his wife and their relationship. So very interesting stuff. I really, really enjoyed this first issue. there's just not enough time for me to keep up with this weekly, but I definitely or monthly, but I definitely want to get the rest of the story because I think Joe Casey set up something really fun. So if you have read this issue, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.